TIFU by also not realizing I had athlete's foot for 20 years, by user Donbert Song. I, 35F, saw a post on TIFU a few weeks ago. About someone who had thick, calloused, crusty, mother-chuffing feet. And they had tried all sorts of pumice stones, metal graters etc. and always envied other people their soft pink feet. They discovered they had a fungal infection and their feet got better after treating it. Hey! I thought on reading about these unmanicurable hooves of my fellow Redditor. Since I've been a teenager, I too have been cursed with thick hardened soles, with cracked heels. I don't have the gnarled yellowing talons this fellow describes, but I've tried every cheese grater, acid-lined socks, seriously, intense moisturizing regimens, but I've not had a soft foot since I was a child. I always thought athlete's foot was itchy red scales around the toes, not the thick cratered calluses I'd always had. The part that really got me thinking was when OP mused that their cracked skin went up the sides of the feet. Shit. Mine does that too. Maybe. And yes, fellow Redditors. I too have been harboring an ungodly fungal foot infection for 20 years. After 7 days of using an over-the-counter antifungal cream, my feet are already softer and more like that of an elf rather than a hobbit. Maybe one day I can slip my feet into bed without a crusty-edged trotter catching on the sheets. TLDR. Lived with crusty feet my whole adult life for no goddamn reason. Edit. The foot cream I'm using is Canesten, Cotrimazole. See you on the beach, my soon-to-be soft-footed friends. TIFU by finding out what my 8-year-old son was saving for, by user lilbutta272. Before we start this, I want to tell everyone this is a happy TIFU. When I was a 16-year-old, I was stupid, I didn't wear protection and I got a girl pregnant. I was shocked. I never expected having a kid that early and I don't know if I regret it or not. Almost all of my regrets washed away when my son was born. For privacy purposes we will call him Rory. I am 24 now and my son is 7, almost 8 now. He is the smartest and most loving kid I could ever ask for. His mom had left when he was around 2, when I tried to sue for child support the judge sided with her, quoting that I was the father and needed to step up. Ever since then it has been me and Rory against the world. I was a single dad to Rory from then on. I had a few girlfriends but nothing serious. I left my parents' place and got a small apartment. I dropped out of high school, which I still immensely regret, but hey, life happens. During this time, my neighbors, God bless them, helped me raise my son. They were an older couple next door whose kids had moved out long before, so they were fine babysitting him after school, late shifts etc. I am a manager at McDonald's. I make lousy money but it was enough to get by. Then 2 years prior our shitty building manager raised the rent for everyone and I had to work even harder for a place to live during a pandemic. My parents had left the state and I wasn't ready to uplift my kid's entire life because his dad couldn't provide for him. Every birthday, since before he was 3 I believe, I took Rory to Golden Coral, usually on his birthday, but there were more occasions we went. It was really good for him and he really enjoyed it. I haven't been able to take him for the past 2 years due to money being very tight. This is important for later. Sometimes I will get tipped at McDonald's, a quarter here, a dime here, a dollar here and there. I'll bring it him every day and give it to Rory to save. Well, 2 days ago, Rory brings me his money jug and dumps it all out in front of me. He was so excited and began counting it out. There was around $40 there and he jumped up excitedly. I had asked him, "What's up, little buddy?" When I tell you guys my heart broke, my son asked me if it was enough to go to the corral for his birthday. A piece of me shattered inside. I didn't think he remembered the Golden Corral. I told him we couldn't go to the bank tomorrow and exchange it for cash. That night I ugly cried in my bedroom. I felt like a failure because I couldn't give him everything he's ever wanted. I've began researching furthering my education. Well, yesterday as soon as the bank opened, I took my son and we exchanged the money for cash. I then drove us to Golden Corral and we were there for 2 hours. My kid was so happy, and I was stupid because I just assumed he forgot this place. We get the all-you-can-eat buffet for 2 for $30. Today I cried again in my room. I've never been good at saving money, but his birthday is next month and I'm gonna do my best to take him every few months. So other parents of Reddit, can I ask some advice of how you deal with the guilt of having to say no? Again, this is a happy TIFU. Edit 1. Also, if anyone asks, I'll post a pic of the coins and the container they were in. He saved them in a cotton candy container from a Christmas ago, face with tears of joy. Edit 2. Kid's money jug and his coins posted on my profile, lol. That's for those who asked. I would post a pic of him blurred, but that's violating his privacy. Edit 3, OMG, thanks for the gold. This is my first across my 2 accounts medium white star crown. Edit 4, 3 gold. Wow, now I wish I would have posted this on my main LOL. Edit 5, turning off DMS and replies because I'm getting a lot of trolls. Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you so much for your parenting advice, Heavy Black Heart. Edit 6, 6 gold 2 platinum OMFG, thank you, I will be giving awards to top comments, Heavy Black Heart. Edit 7, 9 gold and 4 platinum, this is insane. TLDR, kid saved for months just to treat us to Golden Corral because I couldn't afford to take him in 2 years, I ugly cried thinking he didn't remember. TIFU, finding out the elevator thing is real, by user 11 Justin. So this happened about 3 hours ago. Me and a few buddies decided, let's go down to LA for the weekend. Will a few hour drive and a few road sodas later, we arrived at a super swanky Japanese hotel in Little Tokyo. None of us being from California originally, we kinda forgot they worry about earthquakes here. We checked in and got to the hotel room where we started drinking whiskey and roughhousing around. One of my buddies decided he wanted sushi. Now buzzed us decide fuck it and headed to the elevator. Once we got in, one of my buds decided to try to fight the rest of us. We started fucking around in the elevator and then suddenly he got the bright idea to jump. Nothing happened, so we laughed and he asked us all to jump. He counted to 3 and we all launched ourselves as high as we could. Fun fact, did you know elevators in California have seismic brakes? The second we hit the ground the elevator slammed to a stop. At first it was funny, but then we couldn't get it to open. We started pressing every button we could and nothing happened. This then led to us being stuck in it for about an hour and had to call for help. They ended up having to pry the doors open and give us a ladder to climb out. This was all fine until they told us they saw us on the CCTV jumping and the bill for emergency evac is on us. So long story short, that thing they said when you were younger about breaking elevators by jumping? Well, fuck me, it's true, don't do it. TLDR, went to a swanky hotel and try jumping in the elevator. Got stuck and am now stuck with a 1K plus bill. TIFU, by insisting that my fiancé be present in the delivery room, by user disastrous_T_6054. I gave birth in November to my beautiful twin boys. My fiancé is squeamish and he made it very clear that he didn't want to be in the delivery room. I insisted because my best friend moved overseas and my mom and I are estranged. The thought of going through that all by myself, especially since I'm a first-time mom, really scared me. After many talks my fiancé agreed. The big day finally came and he was there, which made me feel less anxious. The delivery went smoothly except the fact that I pooped myself while giving birth. After the last twin came out, I noticed that my fiancé was a total mess. He had thrown up and eventually passed out. Fast forward to now, he has barely touched me. We haven't had sex at all since the birth, and if I didn't know any better, I would say he looks at me with disgust. I finally had the courage to bring it up and he said witnessing me giving birth and simultaneously pooping really turned him off. It was the most disgusting thing he'd ever seen and he doesn't see me the same. The talk opened up room for him to bring up the fact that he needed time away from me. He left to stay with his friend. But I later noticed on our shared computer that he had been looking up places for a while. TLDR, I insisted that my fiancé be in the delivery room and ended up ruining our relationship. TIFU, by writing a grumpy note and leaving it on a badly parked car, by usermit the Pianoman. I went shopping this morning, and when I got to the car park it was full, except for 2 spaces opposite each other on the end of a row. The problem was that a car had parked in the road between the 2 rows, so neither were accessible. I drove around for a while looking for someone coming out of a space, and after 5 minutes someone vacated a space, so I parked up. I was on one of the rows with the empty spaces that were blocked by the arsehole car, and I did the admittedly petty thing of writing "You park like a cunt" on the back of an old pay and display ticket. I slipped the note into the gap where the window meets the door and went about my shopping. When I got back to my car there was a guy sat on the bonnet of my car. He looked like he was maybe 19 or 20, and was wearing a cheap grey suit. If I had to guess I'd say he was a trainee letting agent, or maybe one of those guys who stands in the high street trying to sell you broadband. Either way, the scrawny guy was sat on my car. Me, is there a problem? Him, you think you're funny leaving notes on my car? Fucking prick. I didn't even try to deny it. I'm not normally one for confrontation, but I told him to his face what I'd already written on the note. It wasn't a long argument, it didn't get physical, but a few choice insults were thrown, I told him he looked like a shaved rat that had been kicked through a branch of Moss Brothers, which is a reference I suspect only the Brits will get. It was only after the argument had begun that I twigged that he knew it was me who wrote the note, so I asked him how he even knew who wrote the note. You wrote it on a parking ticket with your fucking reg number on, you thick fuck. I couldn't stop myself laughing. The only piece of scrap paper in my car had identifiable information on it, and I used it to call someone a cunt. Left a note on a badly parked car written on a parking slip with my car's reg number on it. Got into an argument with the owner, childish insults were thrown. I wrote the note on a pay and display ticket, proof of payment to park. It wasn't a parking fine.